Gonna have to be quick with this one. I'm sorry if it looks like absolute chaos in the background. We're prepping to move. I'm moving. Glad you know that now. Hello my friends and welcome to another video. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Charlemagne, I'm a professional tarot reader. Happy New Year guys! Happy 2024! And as it's the start of a new year, I wanted to share with you guys the reading that I do at the beginning of every year. I've just posted a video on Patreon that kind of goes through some of the readings that you can do and different ways that you can schedule your readings throughout the year, which you can go and check out in your own time. But in this particular video, I just wanted to show you the reading that I do specifically and the results that I got from that reading this year. So the reading that I do at the beginning of every year is a 6-card New Year's resolution spread. And this reading basically just gives me 6 different resolutions in different categories that I can try and aim towards throughout the year. I've done a couple of variations on this reading, which you can definitely go and check out on my Patreon, but this is my particular favorite. I've actively shared the results of this reading on TikTok as well, but I figured this year, since I'm focusing on YouTube, that I was going to do a long form version of this where I basically just explain how I come to these conclusions. So because we have 6 cards in this reading, we're going to have 6 different categories. We're going to have the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the financial, and the educational. This is the second time I have forgotten that there is a microphone in my hand. Let's start from the top. We'll start with the physical, and this year I got the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is a very grounded card. Specifically, the Queen is a homemaker in this instance, and specifically creates an environment that nurtures the people in it. And personally, I interpreted this as treating yourself well in order to be well. So I decided that my physical resolution this year should be to actively treat my body better, to make sure I'm eating right, to make sure that I'm exercising enough, to make sure I take all of my supplements and medications, that kind of thing. And hopefully, that will stop me from feeling less like ass all the time. For the mental card, we got Reverse Death, which, boy. Reverse Death is specifically about avoiding change. And it was pretty clear to me that this resolution was about resolving all of my problems as they occur and not waiting on them. I have a habit of sitting on things to make sure that I know what I want, but a lot of the time I was right in my initial interpretation. It just gives me the option to overthink things and it's just not worth it. So this year my mental resolution is to resolve all issues and problems as they arise, no exceptions. For emotional, we have the 3 of Pentacles. And this kind of coincides with the resolution of Reverse Death, but in a slightly different fashion. I'm referring to this as committing to the bit, which basically means if I feel something, it's probably worth mentioning. Again, I have a habit of sitting on things and waiting for extended periods of time before I mention anything to people, and that in itself harbors a lot of resentment. So I've been practicing expressing my emotions as they are occurring, even if I don't quite understand what they are yet. Alexithymia got me real messed up. What we're mainly aiming for here is emotional communication, which is also covered by the 3 of Pentacles in that it's a learning card, and that I can learn from others in this experience. For the spiritual card, we have the Reversed High Priestess, which is a card that I tend to get in the spiritual field, but its reversal tells us something that I've been thinking about for a while now. And that is, I need to make spirituality about me again. I've been doing this job a long time, and that means that my focus has been primarily on other people and making sure that they are working through their spiritual journey, and it's been less about me. And because of some of the other stuff that's been happening in my life, it has meant that I felt very, very disconnected from my spirituality, my personal spirituality, that is. So this year, I'm making a point of focusing on my own personal development, while still doing all of my work stuff, like that's all planned and ready to go, but I'm going to be making more focus on me. And hopefully, in doing so, making my connection that little bit more clear and strong. For the financial, we have the 6 of Swords, which generally represents the calm after a storm. Things calming down after times of turbulence, which honestly, absolute blessing, but as a resolution kind of confused me. Until I acknowledged the fact that swords are kind of just a part of the mind, right? And the past year has been insane when it comes to finances as well as a lot of other stuff. And I realized that that's been like a big focus for me because I've had to put a lot of my attention into it. This suggests to me that this year, as long as I'm working towards those goals, things will calm down. As long as I'm working towards paying off debt, as long as I'm working towards creating savings, as long as I'm working towards generating income, then things will be fine. So I simply had this resolution as act responsibly. And also don't torture yourself over the things that you can't control. Lastly, we have education, and for education, we have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands generally represents celebrations, gatherings, reunions, and community spirit, and I think that that's the thing that it's meant to be focused on in this. Wands are also a passion card. They represent the heart, the soul, the desires of a person. That made me realize that a lot of my education has been pretty solo just recently. I've been doing a lot of reading, and I've been doing a lot of research, but most of it has been by myself. So this year, my educational focus is going to be on finding a community that I can study with. For lots of things, I mean, spirituality isn't the only thing I study. I'm also an avid language learner. In my educational efforts, I'm going to be probably joining a class of some description or joining a community where I can learn things with other people. I haven't quite decided what that means yet, but we'll see. If I manifest it vaguely enough, then the thing will come to me for sure, right? So, to recap, my resolutions this year, as I've written down on my computer screen here: treat my body well, to resolve all problems and issues as they arise, no exceptions, to commit to the bit emotionally, to make spirituality about me again, to act responsibly in my finances, and to find community for education. I hope this was as interesting for you as it was for me. Do let me know if you try out this reading and what you got, because I am always very, very interested in other people's experience with tarot reading. If you like what you see here, like, comment, subscribe. Also, if you're feeling fancy, you can go to my Patreon and you can look at the companion video to this where I go through different scheduling techniques. I talk about my tarot journal, which is available on my Patreon as well, and also on my coffee shop, and about all of the other readings that you might want to do at the beginning of the year. I now have to get going because, as I said, I'm moving and we just got the keys to the new place, so I'm gonna have to go and clean a bunch. I hope to see you all again soon, and as always, stay blessed, my friend.